Alright, hello my friends and welcome back to another Brotato Danger 5 random run with Genetically Modified Overkill, where we mash two classes together and see what horrible monstrosity the mod gives us. We're still having a blast with this mod, so really enjoying it. If I've counted correctly, then this video will be going up either New Year's Eve or the day before New Year's Eve if you're in a place that has its New Year on January 1st. So, Happy New Year, everyone. I hope that this year has been kind to you. I hope next year goes even better. I want to thank everyone who's watched my videos this year. This year's been a wild ride for me in terms of the channel. Just the amount of support that I've gotten has been mind-blowing, and I really want to thank everyone who's watched and commented and liked the videos and financially donated. All of those things are super appreciated, and thank you so much. All right, let's jump right in and see what we've got. We are going to roll two characters, and we got the Artificer and the Mage. So this is a very weird combo. If we can find something that gives us that scales off of elemental damage and explosions, then we'll be good. So, like, the nuclear launcher is really good, but the Mage can't build other kinds of damage. So I think we're actually locked in to only one kind of weapon. There's only one functional weapon that will work here, and that is the plank, because we won't be able to build ranged damage for the shredders or anything along those lines, and we can't build engineering for the engineering weapons. Any non-explosion damage weapons are going to have their damage reduced to 0 because of the Artificer. The Mage's fire is also going to really struggle at first with the Artificer, but hopefully we can build up our percent damage enough that we are able to light things on fire. I think this is going to be a really interesting build. If I can build my percent damage up enough that the Mage's fire actually, like, does stuff, then we're going to be able to really start spreading fire across the map, because explosions do spread fire, and the Artificer gets giant explosion size, and of course we're building elemental damage at an increased rate because we're the Mage and the Artificer. So this is going to be super fun. I'm just going to take the elemental damage right off the bat here. So let's take a look at these characters just to give you a quick overview of what they do. So we get half as much armor and start with minus 100% damage, but 175% explosion damage. These stack linearly, so we basically get 75% bonus damage for explosions and weapons with the explosive tag, including the plank. The Mage gives us 33% more elemental damage, including from the elemental weapon tag, and we get a snake and a scared sausage to spread fire, but we can't buy melee, ranged, or engineering damage at all. So this is a very interesting character combo that I think will synergize pretty well, especially if we can build enough percentage damage to get the fire online. But obviously just increasing our elemental damage gained is going to be hugely powerful in and of itself for the Artificer, because we are going to gain so much explosion size. I'm going to lock this plant. We're not going to use lifesteal. We will be using health regeneration. I'm going to keep rolling. I'm looking for a plank. Here we go. We didn't manage to hit a plank. I could buy the plant, but I think I'm just going to save my 13 and try to roll for more planks with it. That's basically 2 rerolls that we would be spending. So I'm just going to save this money and try to max out our weapon set early. That's going to be really important for this character because we get the tags online early this way. Genuinely not sure how good or bad this character will be, because planks are a pretty bad weapon unless you're scaling multiple damage types, and we can't, since they only scale at 50% of each of them. And we can't scale multiple damage types. The Mage won't let us, but it does give us slightly increased scaling on elemental damage, and that's going to boost our explosion size, so that's going to be pretty cool. I'm going to re-roll this, I think. We could take armor at half value or health regeneration, but I think I'd rather get HP, harvesting, or elemental damage. I'll take the harvesting. It's early enough. We can benefit from that still. Roll here, roll again. Roll again. There's another plank finally. And yeah, so if I had bought the plant last round, we would be short 1 plank. So, worked out to not do that. Nuclear launcher, because it scales off of elemental damage, is the thing we're looking for most of all. But you'll notice that any fire we are spreading doesn't do any damage because we have minus 100% damage to start with. So until our percent damage goes up to like even to minus 50% or so, we're going to be really struggling in that respect. I'm going to take more elemental damage here. We really need to scale the damage of our weapons so they one-shot things, and that's hard to do because we're playing basically at a disadvantage because we're only scaling our damage 50%. Here, I'm going to reroll and either take Harvesting if we can. I'll just take 6% speed because it's level 2. Non-weapon sources of damage are really bad on the Artificer because they don't have the explosion tag. So normally Alienize is very good on Mage to spread fire, but our fire is so weak thanks to our percent damage that we can't benefit from that. Get another plank here. Similarly, stuff like turrets, I don't know if it's worth picking up. Normally I like turret on Mage because it spreads the fire, but we're not relying on fire like at all. 1.33 elemental damage lost for 10 luck. Is that good? I think we're going to pass on that, actually. And I'm going to throw in a reroll here. It's only 5. It gets us 4 looks at things, including a guaranteed weapon, which is very likely to be a plank. It wasn't, but, you know, I think it was worth that reroll. And we get to lock 2 things, so we saved more than the 5. We get some more guaranteed weapons. That'll be very useful. Plank does get increased damage scaling as you level it, but it only goes from 50% to 55% on each damage type. So we're only gaining very small value as we level up our planks. It's kind of hard for me not to take damage. I need some attack speed just so our planks can help clear. Right now we're really suffering in terms of not having attack speed. So yeah, I'm just going to take the attack speed here. Bag, weird food, and explosion damage, of course, all very good. And another weird food. Now that we've found 2 weird foods, we should really prioritize luck. That can generate consumables for us, which can be a major component of our healing. Roll again here, and I'm going to take the plank, and I'll also take head injury and toxic sludge. Toxic sludge giving us 2 elemental damage. Our dodge is at -4 already. I'm debating whether I want to lock this acid. That would leave the whole shop locked. But it looks like we're never going to build dodge. I think it's not worth it just because acid is such an inefficient item anyways. But given that I'm buying toxic sludges and stuff like that, we're going to be reducing our dodge further anyways. So I shouldn't avoid acid just to avoid losing dodge. But I don't think it's worth locking there. Having the entire shop locked means we're probably carrying an item over 2 shops, which means we're basically giving up 2 rerolls. More luck would be good for consumables. Just more health regen would also be very good. And just defensive stats are what we need at this point. Take attack speed as well. Attack speed is still very important. And then we're going to reroll this, and yeah, more attack speed. The more of this we get, Plank actually scales best with attack speed, because it's got pretty high base damage. It just is very, very slow to attack. So as we add attack speed, it gets a lot better. And then I'm going to buy out this whole shop. It's only half an armor, but we need to start increasing our armor. You can't be a melee character with no armor. It's just too bad. Do I want shackles? So that would be 8 regeneration and 80 range, which is not irrelevant on the 150 range plank. That would basically get us up to a 200 range weapon, but we'd lock our speed at 3. I think I am going to lock the shackles here. I might not buy them next round, but I'm going to look for a speed level up, and if we can just stay at 10% speed, that'll be fine. I don't really need to go higher than like 10%. As long as we don't shackle ourselves at negative speed, I'm feeling okay about buying the shackles. While we don't use the engineering at all on this character, just buying 8 regeneration is pretty nice, because we're going to need healing. And like I said, the range actually will matter for the plank as a weapon. Getting lots of damage. Of course, because we're doing fire and explosions, the game's audio is bugging out, so sorry about that. I hope they fix that in some of the upcoming patches. One of the exciting things about Brotato right now is that they've said patches will be upcoming. I'm gonna recycle the sharp bullet. So I could take this because it's a unique item. That means it won't show up in the shop again, which makes our shops better. It also is a unique item for fairy, giving us potentially one more regeneration if we find a fairy. We would lose 5% damage, but it also, if we do find a nuclear launcher, piercing is so good on that. I kind of talked myself into it. This might be wrong, but it's probably wrong. But I talked myself into it, I think. I'm going to reroll here. I think we can do better. I'm looking for speed. 6% speed, that's perfect. We can lock ourselves at 9% speed, and that's totally fine. That's really not a problem. Peaceful Bee is actually pretty good, because we don't care about losing melee or range damage at all. One of the great things about being an elemental build is that Peaceful Bee is an excellent item for every character, and especially for elemental characters, where it has no downsides. Get to upgrade our weapon. I'm going to do that over the shackles here, because we can still increase our speed a little more, maybe. And I'll take the landmines. Right now, they're not going to help a lot with our clear speed, but later on, when we get more percent damage, they can help us apply fire. And we will buy percent damage like the Cyclops Worm fairly aggressively, so I'm going to lock that. Alright, now I need HP, because 20 HP at wave 7 is pretty rough. Our damage is pretty good, so I'm going to let these guys spawn. 3 of them spawned at once, which is actually pretty rare, because of the spawn patterns of the eggs. But this is a little extra money if you let them spawn, of course. Having found 3 level 2 attack speed upgrades as well is really helpful for us. So it looks like our fire is, yeah, still only doing 1. Need quite a lot more percentage damage before it can actually hurt things. But our explosion size is starting to really boost here. Here I'm going to take regeneration. We're about to build some more of it, so it's pretty good to build that. I could take harvesting here, but I think even though that would get us to over 21 harvesting, so it would start going up by 2 per level, I'm just going to take 3 armor. At this point, the armor is really valuable as well, even though it's at half value. I do need HP still extremely badly. I say that, and I'm going to decrease our HP by buying leather vest, but still something to look out for here. Roll, and I'll definitely buy the propeller hat, but not the lost duck. We do want luck. So now I'm capped at 9% speed. I don't need to buy any more speed. This is sort of the last level next level is the last level I'm comfortable sitting at super low health for. This level is actually harder than Wave 9, given that we're an explosion build. But at least we have pretty good HP regen, so if I take some damage, we heal it up fairly quickly. Also doing 2 fire damage now, so, you know, things are really, really looking up. It's all coming up Millhouse. I just had the horrible thought that my audience is probably too young to get that reference. Greetings, fellow boomers. Alright, we are going to pick up elemental damage here, or should I just roll for health? I guess plus 3 elemental damage is too powerful to pass up on. Wave 9 I can get away with not having high health, but wave 10 I'm going to need it. So let's buy these good items, then we're going to roll for health going into the next few levels. I could buy Snail. I don't think it's worth locking. I'm just going to roll here and see if we can lock some damaging items of any kind. Do I want the helmet, half in armor? I think that's still going to be good, so I will lock the helmet. Going down to 7 speed is a little rough, but Armor is so hard to get on this character, and yet still so valuable, that I think it's worth it. We shouldn't have to worry too much, even with our very low health on this level, because it's wave 9, and we're an explosion build, so it's all weak, numerous enemies, but we are explosive. Looking to get just the largest explosions we can possibly get, obviously. Any more elemental damage we can get will help a lot with that, and with Mage's bonus elemental damage scaling, we should be able to get some truly gigantic explosions. Really hoping we find a nuke launcher on this run. That would be incredible for us. Planks at least having the elemental damage tag is one of the nice things, because we got, I guess, 6.66 elemental damage out of that tag, because of the 5 plus a 1/3. Yeah, more speed. We are about to decrease our speed by buying the helmet, so I'll take that. Great, we get 10 health. Here, I could take 10% attack speed. I think I'm going to reroll this. Although, our luck isn't that good, and our chances of rolling more level 3s aren't that high. I'm just going to take the attack speed, because we do need that. Buy the helmet here. Roll again. Buy dynamite. Little muscly dude. Our range is pretty high, so we don't really care about lowering it, and 5 HP is very good for us. Looks like we may not end up able to make our fire go, because we just haven't had the opportunity to boost our percent damage that much. Weird Ghost. So we have 13 regen, 10 luck, and 4 consumable heal going into wave 10. Wave 10 is a pretty dangerous wave for Weird Ghost, because it's few high health enemies. And it's got a bunch of chargers and ranged enemies, so they're dangerous. They can one-shot you. But with 13 regen, I think we're okay to buy it. And that just lets us do a slightly more efficient shopping trip there, where we get to actually buy out the shop. If we drop a consumable, then we're in good shape. So we'll get a tree there, because our consumables are healing for 7, which is, with 13 regen, 7, 1 consumable is like, basically 7 seconds of healing. So it's a big boost to our healing. I do occasionally get the question, like, why do you prioritize consumable heals so much in your builds? And that's why. When you do the math, consumable heal is just way more efficient than the passive healing or lifesteal up until the pretty late game. And it also gives you a lot of additional options like burst healing. You could see there, we had a ton of consumables on the ground. So if we took a hit, we would immediately heal back to full, because our pickup range would suck in a healing item. I'm going to reroll this. I think we can do better. 1 armor. We've got 5. I'd rather buy HP. Do I want luck, attack speed, or dodge? I'm happy with any of these. I think we're going to take the attack speed, though. Stone Skin. So that would give us 3 or 4 armor, or 4 HP, because it's going to reduce our armor only by 1, because we have a 50% armor reduction. I think that's not bad, just buying 4 HP for 187 here. We lose 1 armor, but then any armor we buy has marginal value. Stone Skin's obviously worse on the Artificer than on other characters, but it's early enough that we can still prioritize buying armor. I'm going to buy the spicy sauce here and roll. I will take the plank. And we'll take bait. We're not going to buy it this wave because we're going into an elite wave. Do I want the alien worm? So that would reduce my consumable heals, but 2 regeneration and 3 HP at this point is pretty good. I think for this build in particular, where we're trying to build our HP regen back up, it's not bad to take alien worm. I'm going to try to kill this elite pretty quickly if we can. It's going to start running away. Oh, I took 2 hits, so now I have to dodge away from it. Managed to screw up this fight pretty badly just by taking a bunch of hits in a row, but we had enough consumable heal on the ground that I can get back in and start hitting the elite again. I knew I was going to take that hit. 30 seconds left. We should be able to clear this as long as I don't walk into every attack. I say, and then walk into every attack. Let's go do a quick walkabout, pick up some fruits, and then we can run back in and finish off the boss. There we go. Not the cleanest fight, but I was able to sort of engage and disengage frequently enough. Wow, we also made just a ton of money because it was summoning units. Okay, so we lose 5 HP, or 5.5 HP, because we lose half an armor here, and our speed can't go up anymore. Is that worth it to buy 10% dodge? We would lose 5 HP and go up to 25% dodge. I don't think the jetpack is worth it, because we lose a bunch of health, we lose half an armor. The speed isn't worth it. It doesn't do anything for us because we have shackles. So I think, sadly, we're going to recycle that. Here, though, I'm just going to take the armor. 1.5 armor, 1.5 HP, and then we'll take some attack speed, and that's pretty nice as well. And buy the bait here, buy the alien worm. So this is not an item I like very much, but on an HP regen build, I think it can be good. We're not building lifesteal, so I'm not going to buy the ritual here. Explosion size, though, that we're buying. Fuel tank, definitely, because elemental damage is great. Plank and warrior helmet are all excellent for us. Explosion damage, for sure. And one more reroll I think we can get away with. And then, yeah, this is nice. We're going to buy a weird food here. Pocket Factory is pretty interesting for Mage. What's the damage on our burning? 3x3 right now, because we're at minus 86%. Because Pocket Factory lets the trees spawn turrets, which apply the burning. But I think we're going to end up just one-shotting everything with our attacks. So I'm not going to buy the Pocket Factory, even though it's often okay on if this had ended up as a more Mage-y version of this combo and a less Artificer-y version, then we could have gotten away with Pocket Factory, or could have benefited from Pocket Factory. If we find a bunch of percentage damage in the next couple waves, then we might still transition into relying on the burning damage a little more. But for now, we're just blowing everything up with gigantic explosions. Look at that landmine explosion. Did you see that cover the whole screen? Man, I really want a nuke launcher. Ooh, loot alien, come back. Yeah! Got him right at the end. Gave up a fair bit of money for that, but, you know, it's worth it. We'll take the garden for sure. More luck, yes. I'm going to take regeneration over dodge here. I think it's going to be hard for us to get our dodge to a reasonable value, so I'm just going to take the regeneration. I'm going to re-roll this. I think the wheelbarrow costs 110, would work for 9 rounds of harvesting. Or no, not 9. 7 rounds of harvesting. Or I guess 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Yeah. So 8 rounds of harvesting off the wheelbarrow. So it would pay for itself. Cost me half an HP and half an armor. I guess it's worth buying because it also grows our harvesting faster. Ooh, do I want a blood donation? So that would basically removes 10 points of our healing. But also gives me 40 harvesting. I'm kind of tempted to buy that. Let's do it. And then I'm also going to buy the snail, even though I lose some move speed. Reducing enemy move speed is pretty good. So we have enough healing that the blood donation... we have enough regen that the blood donation damage is completely offset. And I have about 10 consumable heal. I don't remember what the exact number is, but a lot. So we should be okay to heal, even if I tank hits. Basically, you can think of blood donation as just reducing your HP regen by 10. Going from 18 to 8 means that our regen is, once again, not really an important component of our healing setup. But we could still find Fairy or something and get that back to full. Ouch. And obviously we've got consumable healing, which I am storing up at the garden. This garden has proven to be a good purchase. I wasn't sure about it, but then we got the blood donation and now need some help with healing. So having the garden around helps a lot. Rip and Tear is based on our melee damage, which we can never increase. But it does sort of chain together the explosions. I genuinely don't know if Rip and Tear explosions can proc fire from the Mage. They probably can. This will work well with our percent explosion damage and any other damage we get, but we can't ever increase the base damage of it. I think I'm going to take it, and then I'll take the HP here. That, again, could be wrong, but I think that's just kind of too fun not to do. I'm going to take the medical turret here, because we do need some more healing. And then I'm going to reroll. I don't, even though Candle gives 4 elemental damage, and that would be nice, I don't want Candle. We're going to take the Beanie here, because we have reduced our speed somewhat, but now we can buy another plank. Now scales at 60% of our elemental damage. And then we're going into a Horde wave, so I'm going to take the plank over the lure here. Still hoping for that nuke launcher. Wave 14, pretty dangerous for most melee characters typically, because you're going to end up stacking up a lot of the goobers. But on this explosion-based build, maybe we have less of a problem. I'm going to check the Rip and Tear damage after this wave too, because I'm very curious if it's pulling its weight at all. It sure looks like it's chaining together a lot of explosions. Because even when it's only 23 damage, if we explode like one group of enemies and then 1/5 of them explode for 23 damage, like if we explode 15 enemies, which is a reasonable guess for this pod, 3 of them explode for 23 damage, that's another 70 damage that we've just stacked on top of everything. So I think the Rip and Tear is actually going to be doing pretty solid work on this build, even with 0 melee damage. Definitely not taking padding. I'm going to reroll this. We will take just the health. I want crit chance too, but I really want to get our health up, especially because our dodge is low and our armor is not great either. Grab the lure. Rip and Tear, 9,000 damage in the last wave. Yeah, so Rip and Tear out-damaged our planks, actually, quite significantly, so that's pretty nice. Buy the lure here, and eye surgery. Normally incredible for Mage. I don't know that our damage is really happening on Mage from the Mage passive, or rather from the Scared Sausage. So I think I'm going to pass on the eye surgery. I'm also not going to take a second blood donation or sunglasses here, just both too dangerous. We will upgrade our planks though. 1 melee damage on the charcoal, or 1 elemental damage on the charcoal. Is that worth it? I mean, we get increased elemental damage, and our character just scales so well with elemental damage, I think we have to buy it even at ludicrously high prices like that. And then I'll take the Insanity, because crit chance is going to be a real component of our damage. I'm not going to take Tardigrade, because we have blood donation, so it would just get removed anyways. Hey, we did it! Alright, well, I'm really excited by the nuke launcher. This is going to be the biggest explosion you've ever seen, and we'll take the flat damage first, but we'll also buy the energy bracelet. We would gain engineering for elemental damage, but we can't gain engineering because we're the Mage, so Strange Book doesn't do anything. I will be very disappointed if this nuke launcher explosion doesn't literally cover the whole screen. Ooh. Oh yeah, right, we bought lure. I was like, oh, we got so lucky, 2 loot aliens. It's a holiday miracle. No, I made that happen. third loot alien. That's lucky, though. So at this point, we're just exploding everything. 700 materials here. I'm going to recycle this. The XP gain at this point is not valuable to us. I will also recycle Chameleon. I'd rather just have 4% damage than 3% dodge, I think. Although our damage is fine, maybe I just take the Chameleon. The dodge while standing still never comes up, but we could still build dodge at this point. We've got 7 armor, we've got 74 HP. If it happens, then we'll build dodge, although we're immediately reducing it. Crown, I think this will pay for itself more than recycling, because we're going to get at least a couple uses out of it. I don't know if we're going to get 50 out of the crown. We'll check at the end of the game. Oh, this is great. We get a lot of elemental damage, but we also get to buy a nuke launcher. And then a ton of extra elemental damage. Another fuel tank. That's awesome. Very happy about that. All right. Well, I'm excited to see what the nuke launcher looks like. We do lose 1 damage because it's not an elemental tagged weapon, so we lose 1 flat damage. Notice that our explosion damage is 148% increased. Actually, 198% increase because we have a plastic explosives. All right, nuke launcher. Yeah, there we go. And my choice to buy piercing early on paid off. Alright, now we need Sif's Relic because the nuke launcher's not leaving enemies in a place where I can pick up the materials. This has ceased to be a difficult run and become a pure power fantasy. But you know, those are nice sometimes. That fucking explosion size. I'll basically take any combo with Artificer just because it's so fun. Look how much materials we left on the ground because we weren't able to pick stuff up. Recycle this. Obviously, we don't need melee damage for anything. And then here, yeah, I'll just keep embiggening our explosions. Elemental damage and more elemental damage. We lose half, or we gain half an HP back from the stone skin if I pick this up. So we only lose 1.5 HP. I think that's worth it. We'll take the duct tape here. Just increasing our armor is still very valuable. I'll still take the scared sausage, even though it's our percent damage prevents it from doing anything. Is that correct? No, there's just no point. The nuke launcher is just going to be one-shotting everything. I mean, it did 30,000 damage compared to 1,200 of the plank. And then Rip and Tear did only about 1,200 last round as well, because the nuke launcher was literally just killing everything immediately. Yeah, I'll take Sad Tomato. That'll increase our regen. I'll take Lucky Charm as well. Both very good, and we'll go to wave 17. Now, the single target DPS of our nuke launcher is not going to be as good. So, against elites, we're still going to have more damage and stuff. And I guess against buffed rib cages, it wasn't killing things immediately. Trying to use up our bank of doubled materials. Yeah, a baby gecko or Sif's Relic would help a lot. Since things are dying screens away from us, it's very hard to pick up all the materials on the ground. I don't think this run is unlosable, by the way, just because our single target damage is still pretty low. So the elite could still just chase us down and kill us if my dodging is bad. So while the normal waves are fairly trivial, I don't want to get too cocky when going into elite waves. You can take armor there just for the HP and to give us a little more defenses. We'll take Sad Tomato, take the luck, and Poisonous Tonic will also be very good, even though we do want regen, of course. Attack speed and crit chance are great. I'll take percent damage here too, and we'll lock the lemonade. While we won't use the lifesteal at all, the nuke launcher, the explosion can only lifesteal 1 point at a time. So even though we're hitting 50 things, you can only get 1 lifesteal per shot of the nuke launcher. But the percent damage is still pretty valuable, so it just increases our damage by a lot. Yeah, so you can see here, we do actually have to engage our planks in order to kill this elite with relative quickness. And because I took Sad Tomato, started at half health, we didn't have like amazing regen going into this fight. There's definitely a world where we die here if I dodge badly. Luckily, because we have the insane range and clear of the nuke launcher, the only thing we have to focus on is the elite. So I don't have to spend too much effort. Like, I was able to dodge that elite very well just because our weapons were incidentally clearing everything else on the map without me having to do any work for it. I want to apologize if you have a flashing light sensitivity, but I just love the explosions. We're actually not making that much money per wave, which is funny, because I'm clearing everything as soon as it spawns, so I'm wondering why we're actually making less money than you might expect. Sure, I'll take the anvil. There's a random chance. I guess we get 2 chances at this, so we might upgrade our nuke launcher. And then here I'm going to reroll and look for... I was hoping for elemental damage. I'll just take the regen, though. I think that's the thing we need more than anything else in terms of defensive stats. And regen and raw HP. And defensive stats are what this build mostly needs. Oh, well, obviously we're taking explosive shells. I mean, who are we kidding? That's the best item for this character. Use my garden to heal back up. Garden medical turret can help us heal back up from the Sad Tomato. Start. Picking up no materials on the ground. I wonder if there's a bug where if things die off screen, they don't drop materials on occasion. Because I feel like there should just be more mats on the ground because we're killing things so quickly. And yet, we're actually still just having a lot of trouble making money. Like, I feel like we should be making in the sort of 700-800 range, and we're making in the 500-600 range per wave. I guess this wave we're going to make 700-ish. And just not being able to pick up the materials reliably means we're having to do these weird movement patterns. Yeah, okay, so we made 700 and had 100 on the ground, but... wasn't as exciting as it could have been. And unfortunately, our anvil missed on the nuke launcher twice. Do I just want to buy the mouse? That would just be kind of fun to add more enemies. Or I could buy the plank to kill the bosses a little faster. We can't really combine any weapons, so I'm just going to buy the mouse here. Reroll just for fun. Nothing here that we could have gotten that would have been good. And let's go blow up those bosses. Again, this game is still not unlosable, so I do need to be a little bit cautious. I'm going to stick by the medical turret. When we stack the bosses here... Oops. Yeah, so you can see where our healing... neither our healing nor our damage are particularly well suited to fighting these bosses, because our healing is pretty slow on this build. We don't have great armor or dodge. And our damage is all multi-target, so it's not clearing the bosses that fast. When I get into range of them, I can start hitting them with the planks. I'm going to try to clear this one because it's entered its 3rd stage already, and I want to kill it before both of them enter their 3rd stage. Okay, I walked into every attack there. Come on, we gotta focus this guy down, please. There we go. Then I can grab the full heal. That was almost another embarrassing loss. But we made it. So yeah, so you can see even with the insane explosion damage and explosion radius, the single target damage of this build was still pretty weak at the end, so we did suffer in terms of having to play carefully against the bosses. And with only 12% dodge and 9 armor, 80 HP, and effectively only 20 regen because of the blood donation, we really were not a defensive powerhouse this build. Let me just quickly check all the damage stats. So the nuke launcher did 60,000, and these did all in the 5,000s-ish, although all their damage was against the bosses pretty much, so it was important damage. And then what else did we want to check? The crown gave me 35 harvesting and cost me 50, so given the harvesting native scaling, I think that did just barely pay for itself, but it was close. And Rip and Tear did 20,000 damage. Not amazing for Rip and Tear, so wasn't a huge factor in this game. Though we got it before we got the nuke launcher to just blow up everything. Anything else really interesting about this build? Not really. I do think that we could have lost this build pretty easily if I had leaned more into the Mage version and started buying fire effects. Like if I'd thrown away a bunch of money buying scared sausages and snakes and eye surgeries and stuff, then we would have had a lot less money. And as you saw at the end there, it was actually fairly tight. Alright, my friends, I hope that you have enjoyed this video, and if you have, do please feel free to leave a comment, rate the video, and subscribe to my channel for more Brotato and other strategy game content. Have a happy and safe new year, and do something kind for yourself, do something kind for someone else, and I will catch you next time.